Waterworks, waterworks. Hello, hello. Let's see how the water is today. Let's see how the water flow is today. A little slow. Ooh, very slow. Ooh, really slow. Maybe I have to use the pliers again. It's funny because I heard it going down there, you know, in the big tanks, and it was running pretty hard, but I guess not from this one. It's from another one. Okay. Let's see, that should help. Yep. Hey, here's what's on my mind today. Other than, it's so good to be out in the forest in the sun, and this week we've been having great weather, not too much rain, etc., etc. Yeah, that's the main thing. Beautiful. But it's beautiful even when it's raining, so. But it's really nice when it's sunny. Get some vitamin D, right? Get some vitamin D. Get out in the sun. Oh, here's what I was thinking of coming up. Hang on a sec. One is get out in the sun. Even in the north, the sun's coming out now, so you can get the good vitamin D, right? Good for the COVID. And also, don't get too heavy, right? Sounds like being obese is like the worst thing for the COVID. Other than, oh, anyway, whatever. Also, as I was walking up the trail, I thought, oh, you know what's really important? And most people don't know this, and a lot of people will think it's stupid. Is walk on uneven ground. I think so. How about this for sagely advice? Walk as close to barefoot as possible, as often as possible, if not all the time. That's my advice. And walk on uneven ground. And if you can walk on uneven ground barefoot, all the better. But you know, I love those barefoot shoes, eh? That's all I ever buy. Really thin soled, no heel, nothing. And these shoes are almost like that, eh? These boots. Just a little bit of a rise at the heel, like half a centimeter maybe. But basically, and they're very soft, so it's essentially like a barefoot sole. But yeah, walk. Because here's my theory. Okay, most people walk on concrete and floors in their house that are totally flat. You don't have to even be awake to walk around, eh? Like, that's one thing I mean, okay, so I spent a lot of time in tents and stuff over the last, well, all my life, but especially the last, geez, I don't know, 20 years, geez. Like, you know, like not much in the way of full-on homes. Like, my house now has a wood floor, but it's all uneven and there's gaps, and you have to pay attention, right, where you're going, and also you have to pay attention and look out for things like snakes and stuff. Not that happens very often, but you know, you got to keep an eye out for that, right? You don't want to step on one of them. No, you don't. Have it a little bit more. But it's great, you know. Stay aware of where you're walking. So I think it's not just good for, it's good for so many things, right? It's good for body awareness. I think that our bodies are made to be on uneven grounds, right? So we're on a totally flat ground all this time with heavy, thick shoes. There's no input from the ground. You learn so much from the ground. Just walking on it. It tells you so much. Like so much. So much! And also, I think our bodies are adjusting to uneven surfaces all the time. And you know, for the couple million years we've been around, that's how it's been, except for the last freaking, I don't know, depends where you live, but 50 years? Here, I mean, lots of people walk around barefooted. Oh, still, right? Living whatever. Who knows the benefits of uneven ground and barefoot can bring you? Like, I wouldn't presume to say, but I'm sure it's huge, right? Yeah. That's also making me think, these are the thoughts today. Sorry, today's not an ASMR video. I'll do some walking, you can listen to the birdies in a sec. But it's like, oh, I'm gonna get demonetized for sure. Yeah, just look at my view numbers, you'll see I'm not monetized. Anyway, yeah, there's a quasi-religious thing going on, right? Like, it's a little weird, I think. It's like whenever I see someone gets their jab, you know, and they put up the sticker on their Facebook page, and it's like, I got the jab, have you got yours, or whatever. It's like, really? It's like, come on, man. Like, whenever I see someone outside posing for a photo with a mask on, I don't know. I can't help myself. I just think, wow, that's total virtue signaling. There's no medical reason to be outside with a mask on. That's pure freaking burqa land, right? You might as well just throw a burqa over your head, right? It's it's really to proclaim purity and righteousness to the core, right? I don't. I can't believe people are. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? I have a really deep spiritual and religious, you could say, practice, right? Have for a long time. It's private. For me, it's private. Not that I'm against public worship or anything at all. I admire it. But this one's not really like. Let me think. Let me think for a minute. I have to drink some water. Best water in the world. Okay, let's bring it up close and personal. Sitting on the ground, eh? Sitting on the ground. Should we refocus? Focus. be exposed. Okay, how's that? Oops. Yeah, when it's darker, the wrinkles show up more, I think. Anyway, so what was I thinking of? Oh yeah, so I'm just thinking of it because I watched this Norwegian bush bunny guy, Bjorn Bull Hansen. I really like him. He's fun. He's anyway. I won't go into it, but uh, he was talking about it, the sort of religious, sort of how the woke kind of has a religious thing. The whole woke thing. Do you know about that? You should look it up. It's pretty interesting. How the woke sort of phenomenon has a religious quality to it, right? Like, right, you know, and very judgmental and all that stuff. Anyway, canceling people, witch hunting, you know. But anyway, but he said he made a good point. He says, but the thing is with the woke religion, there's no sort of quasi-spiritual. There's no what's the word he used? Kind of ethereal thing. Whereas he says, well, with the COVID religion, don't get me wrong, it's a real virus and a real disease, right? SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19. I'm not one of those, but like I know it's a real thing, and you don't want to get it, right? But you know, there's a lot of things you don't want to get. It's possible. But he says, oh, with the COVID religion, they actually have kind of an ethereal, unknown kind of entity to it, which is the invisible virus, right? So it was pretty interesting, and I've thought this before, and I even said on a few people's Facebook posts, it's like it sounds like you guys are part of some cult or something, you know. Like, and I think on one I even said, listen, yeah, I'd get into that, but I already have a religion. Or no, I didn't say that. I said, yeah, I was thinking of doing all that, but I was thinking if I really wanted to become like religious, then I'd become like a Catholic or something. Anyway, that's stupid. I'm not saying that's a smart remark or anything, but anyway, main point being, it has all the hallmarks of like this righteous, I'm good, you're bad. If you don't get the vaccine, you're putting all of us in danger, you know? It's like, yeah, guys really listen to yourselves. And mostly this is Canadians, right? Because on the Facebook that I have, probably most are Canadians. Not all, but a lot. And then, you know, it's sort of similar in the UK and in the States. Same thing. People are doing similar stuff. So it's really like the West, and in my case, the English-speaking West. Anyway, so I don't know what to say. My point always is, listen, if you think it's right for you, like the vaccine thing, go for it. Get it. If you think it's good for you and it's worth the risk, right? Personal choice, my body, my choice. Remember that old ditty? the mantra of the left from like 40 years ago. My body, my choice, right? Now it's like, your body, my choice. All the left is like that now. And now the right, whatever that is, you know, the more conservative angle, they're like, I'll do with my body what I decide, so screw you. You know, but we're all human, right? And that means it's all complex. Anyway, which is good. It's at least humorous, right? So anyway, that's my thinking on it. I'd be welcome to hear any comments you have. I mean, I don't really care. Really, but it would be interesting to hear people's thoughts on that. If anyone, I guess I'm wondering if anyone else is noticing that. Like one friend even said, Catherine, you should get the vaccine because then you won't die. Like I know what they meant, right? But it's like, choose your words, man. It's like, we're all dead tomorrow, right? Today is a good day to die. That's from one of the greatest lines of all one of the greatest movie lines of all time. It's a good day to die. I've sort of mentioned this before in these water walk videos and talks, and that's Chief Dan George from Little Big Man. The great Chief Dan George from the west coast of Canada. Today is a good day to die. Those are the great words, right? So And then other people sort of touched on this. I've seen floating around. You know, and it's a little bit theoretical. Who knows how we'll be in that moment, right? But like, oh, you know what? If you go through life not being terrified of dying, then you'll maybe, hopefully, possibly go through life not being terrified to also live, right? It's kind of a cliche and hackneyed, I suppose, but I think there's some truth to that, right? Um, some, I think so, big truth, you know. But anyway, as always, do what you want. Anyway, I'm gonna pack this up, head out walking. I'll do some nice walking in the beautiful forest with the sun. Enjoy it because the rain's coming. Rainy season's already started, which is like 2 months early, I'd say. But we're having a few days of beautiful, clear weather. It's a good day to die. Okay, seen in like right, and boom! Here we are. That's a little trick that one of my favorite kendo, I guess, YouTube shows is kendo show like that from Kendall Star and Andy Fisher. That's what he does all the time. Anyway, let's switch it to the bush. Look in the bush. Okay, isn't it just gorgeous, eh? Look, amazing. Not too many days where I don't look out at some point and go, wow, look where I live. I know. Fortunate, grateful, all that. Yep. Love this tree, eh? Can over time, I've been watching it. Like you can see there's a tree around the inner tree, right? And the inner tree is pretty much, well, it's dead now, but there's probably lots of life in it. But the other tree is wrapped around it. So they lived together for a long time. And, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's a little hard to suss out in a way. Anyway, trees living on trees. That's happened here. But where's the fig tree? I missed the fig. Oh, maybe it's down here. Hang on. You hear the tanks. You can hear it roll in, eh? There must be another stream with a pretty strong flow. It's coming in pretty strong. That's not from my little spring, though. Although it is flowing, just not super fast. Oh, here's the fig tree. Oh, they're getting big. Woohoo! So I still haven't figured out if it's a fig tree or a tree that figs grow on. I don't know. Feels like a fig tree, you know what I mean? But plants grow on plants here. You know? Yeah, here we go. I mean, it looks like it's coming out of the tree, doesn't it? But anyway. Yeah, look at that, eh? Can you see them? Amazing. So, I think maybe a couple of weeks I'll be able to snap a few of those up. They're hard to reach, eh? You can't really reach high, but... And other animals eat them. Good, that's good, that's good, that's good. Oops, someone's sawing. I can hear a saw, a chainsaw or something. Look at that sky. Woohoo! Oh yeah, so there you go, eh? Anyway, I guess this is my little video of... Just need to get it off my thing. I don't know. But it does touch on something though. And the whole idea of, as humans, do we need a kind of religious practice of some sort? Spiritual religious practice? it might just be part of who we are. I mean, I think it is personally, but it's definitely a discussion worth having. You know, um, yeah. Like for me, I don't like to talk about it much, right? Yeah, people make fun of you too sometimes, but it's not just about that. But it's private for me, right? But like for me, I spent so much time in the wilderness, I guess, in the forests and prairies, and that's what I love to do, right? As you might sort of suss out from where I live now. Um, that's what I love, and for me, and a lot of solo travel, right? A lot of solo travel, and part of the solo travel for me is that it's really exposing, right? Sure, there's risk. There's definitely risks. So if that's what you're wanting to do, you be careful and take it easy, right? Like seriously, I'm not going to advise people to do it, but for me, it's a way to somehow come into connection with, like for me, being especially being, but here for sure, it's just so full of life and real diversity, right? Anyway, everyone's talking about diversity now. Anyway, whatever. But that it's not just about diversity. Like even in the prairies, right, where there's a lot of different species, but nothing like here, right? Um, you still, for me, there's this massive sense of, oh, there's something bigger than my little human self, right? Which then would lead me to thinking, oh, you know what? I'm a small being within this incredible, complex world, but within it, like within it, it's like living large. You know, that's that expression in Eastern Canada, anyway. So living large, you know. I always think of that when I hear that term, living large, right? Living, trying to be connected. Anyway, it's impossible to talk about. That's why I don't talk about it, right? But it's something to become connected with the intangible, with the, um, oh, what's that word that Peterson uses? Damn! It's a great word. Oh, shoot, probably come to me when I stop filming. Anyway, um, I keep thinking ethereal. That's not what I mean. Like, coming to some small grip with the expanse of all life, all existence, you know? Yeah. Anyway, if it comes back to me, I'll click in and say, blah, I'll just say the word. Anyway, so that's my thing, right? So, like I always, like when I was on my ride, I met lots of, especially in southern Alberta, there's a lot of, it's a real Mormon area. It's like Utah of Canada. Oh, I met lots of Mormons there and had lots of many great talks with them, actually. I always appreciate people of deep religious belief, actually. It may not be my specific belief system, if you want to use that sort of modern technical word, but it sort of doesn't matter, right? To me, it doesn't matter. It's all grappling with, I'm still trying to find that word. It's still trying to grapple with a meaning and a grasping for understanding that we can never have, right? You know what I mean? So it's really counter what like Rupert Sheldrake would call the uh, mechanistic materialism. I think he sort of talks about that. You know, he's great, wonderful talks actually, and get him on YouTube. Well, the mechanistic materialism kind of beat the religion of the modern person. You know, even people that are Christian, so-called, are in a lot of ways mechanistic materialists in essence. You know, but that doesn't matter, right? In a sense. Well, okay, I'm judging mechanistic materialism, but anyway, like you can have multiple belief systems on at one time, right? So here, there can be spirit houses, and someone can practice Buddhism. They're not the same, right? And one friend of mine said, "Oh, in Thailand, it's like Buddhism layered over Hinduism, layered over animism, right? And they're all sort of coexisting. Maybe in Japan, Shinto and Buddhism, although it's a pretty secular country from my understanding, but you know, traditionally Buddhism and Shinto kind of coexist in some way or another. That probably varies. Anyway, so I still can't figure out the word. Like enlightenment's not the word either. It's too highfalutin, you know. It's another word. It'll come to me when it comes to me. I'll click in. Anyway, that's it for today. Sagely advice: get out in the sun. Try to walk barefoot. Walk or thin-soled shoes. Walk on uneven surfaces, and you'll be good. Don't worry about it. Don't sue me if it doesn't work. Okay, ciao, à la prochaine, and see you on the flip side. Bye. I remembered the word, and I'm still on the trail. The transcendent. Do you know what I mean? It's the quest for the transcendence. Transcendent. That kind of idea. Anyway, see you later.